All right, thank you so much for staying with Citizen TV. The State of the Nation conversation is here with Edwin Sifuna, the Senator for Nairobi and the Secretary General ODM. Professor Tom Ojienda is also with us, Senator for Kisumu, and Hilary Sigei, Senator for Bomet. We're speaking about ODM and the working with government. And Sifuna, did you know that these four would be joining government?
Now, Trevor, I want to make something clear to my brother Tom Ojienda, that there is a difference between knowledge and blessing. When we issued the statement that we issued 2 days ago, we said that any member of ODM who's made themselves available for joining or appointment to government would be doing that in the individual capacity and without the blessing of the party. Because as a party, if we are going to take collective responsibility for a decision, it has to be a decision that is reached at, by the party. I don't speak for myself, Trevor. And I want Ojienda to understand that by the time we get to November of this year, I will be the longest serving SG of ODM. You do not stay in that position by issuing statements that you have not consulted about or not sanctioned by any organ of the party. I don't speak for myself. When I don the cap of SG, I speak for organs of the party, decisions that have been made by organs of the party. So did we know that people were negotiating with Ruto? Yes, we knew. Was it something that was being done officially or formally through the party structures? No. Did we endorse the decision by these four individuals to join government? No. It is not a decision of ODM. If you are getting into a government of national unity, you will show me a document. Trevor, even the much maligned handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, there was a document. You saw the two of them at Harambee House saying, this is what we have agreed. It would have been different if, when the president was announcing these names, he would have said, and by the way, I listened to his words. Even the president himself never said he consulted Raila. He never said he consulted ODM. He just said the names of the people that he has appointed, and it is his prerogative as a president. I don't speak for myself. I speak for the party. And until the day I no longer speak for the party, then I will continue speaking for the party. So what we want to say is this, Trevor. Number one, I expect that by the end of the day or before they go for vetting, we will receive resignations of these people from their positions in the party. That is my expectation, because the law is that they cannot go into cabinet as parties and members of political parties. Number two, if ODM was asked, if Raila Odinga was asked to present names of people who are capable of turning around this country and address the issues that have been raised by Gen Z, the Raila Odinga that I know will not present 4 names of all men. That one I can tell you for a fact. In fact, we have a very strong sentiment within the party. Even during meetings of the party, if you give 3 men to speak before a woman speaks, you will be in trouble. There is no way Raila presents 4 names, 2 from one region, in a party as diverse as ODM. I am telling you, this is not a decision of Raila Odinga. It is a decision made between these members and the president himself. Number 4, you would have to show me a document signed by the party leadership themselves that acknowledges or agrees that we are now going to go into a coalition with any other political party. Trevor, I am not averse to conversations. In fact, I was very surprised after the election in South Africa. I never knew or expected that the DA would have conversations with the ANC to form a government of national unity. But it happened. But it was a formal conversation. I have met members of the DA, and they have told me the process they went through, that these people, these 2 political parties, hold different views on different things. For instance, on the question of taxation, you know our position as ODM, that in fact we cannot continue to lump taxes on Kenyans in the current economic environment. We have a different view. I would have preferred a situation where you sit down and you say the country is in a crisis. We would want a way out. What are your thoughts? And then after that, you go to the question of, now that we have agreed this is what we need to do, who are the people who you believe would best help us to achieve this? In the absence of such a process, Trevor, it is difficult for you to bind a party like ODM and say that this is a decision of ODM. I will never keep quiet, Trevor, because luckily for me, even when I am not SG of ODM, I am the senator of Nairobi. I can very well come to this show to speak for the people of Nairobi. If it is deemed anywhere else that I do not speak for ODM, I will not be SG of ODM forever. And I believe that in the party, there is enough talent for people to be able to do this job. I will not hang on to the position of ODM if my views are diametrically opposed to the position of the party. In fact, Trevor, I have made it clear to the leadership of the party that if I am made or we are made to vacate the position that we took, that this decision was not a decision of the party, then my position as SG will be untenable. I am ready to make that position very clear. But I cannot be seen to be a madman just saying things that I do not know. Okay. When a member of parliament who attended a PG, misrepresents what happened in that PG, what is supposed to happen to that member of parliament? Because the party constitution still says that I'm the spokesperson of the party. Okay. And I have never misrepresented the position of the party or misrepresented the position of any organ of ODM. Okay. So what I want to say here, Trevor, that I have lived my life. I have pledged to always be truthful to the people of Kenya, the people who elected me. I will never come here to give you a position other than a position that I believe to be true. So lastly, Trevor, you have a situation where you have 4 members of ODM in a cabinet of 22, you know? And there was a very interesting gentleman that I met during the Lekomo dialogue called David Coltart. He is currently the mayor of Bulawayo. And he was telling us a story of when they got into a government of national unity in Zimbabwe during the time of Morgan Tsvangirai and what was his name? Mugabe. And these guys, they used to be called for cabinet meetings. They are told the cabinet meeting is going to start at 10. But because they are not insiders in government, by the time they arrive at 10 for cabinet meetings, the real cabinet meeting ended at 9. And then you are just there being told, oh, your PS will brief you or whoever will brief you. I feel very bad for my chairman, John Mbadi, because he's a man that I respect. I don't see how he's going to have any impact in this government where he is a minority, essentially. And you are seated there with people. I was the first person, actually, to laud the president for firing his entire cabinet. I was in shock when he reappointed the same people. It is impossible for you as a member of ODM to go, for instance, for me as SG of ODM, to go and have a conversation with Kindiki about reforming the police, about accountability for the people who shot innocent protesters in the streets. Kindiki and Duale are not people you can have a conversation about these things. So in the full and grand scheme of things, I have to answer to the people of ODM because I speak for them. And when they ask me the question, Sifuna, what do you think is going to be achieved by these 4 gentlemen in this cabinet of 22 of people who are diametrically opposed to everything that we stand for? They don't have the fiber that we have. So it would have been nice because even for me, in that conversation, Hillary, if we had had a broad conversation, I would have had a conversation about the entire makeup of cabinet. Because you have this thing that you call the all-of-government approach. You need people who are in sync. You cannot be pulling in 2 different directions. Okay,
so SG, people believe you're speaking on your own. Because you see, then who do you consult as ODM if the chairman, 2 deputy party leaders, the minority leader have all joined government?
This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. Now, the National Executive Council of ODM, or the National Executive Committee of ODM, has over 30 people. The Central Committee of ODM has over 15 people.
But the leadership...
That's what I'm telling you. I am also there. That's what I'm telling you. If you see, I am not a coward, Trevor. If ODM made a resolution that we want to get into a coalition agreement or government of national unity with UDA, I would say it. I'm not afraid. This thing that I see people saying we are fearless. Fearlessness did not start with Gen Z. We are also fearless. I saw you write me a text message yesterday saying, oh, in the light of these developments, will you be brave enough to come to a show? I am not afraid of anything. I don't fear Gen Z. I don't fear Ruto. I don't fear Raila. I can say these things openly and tell you that it is not possible for the SG of ODM to speak for himself. I don't speak for myself. And in fact, the day that I start speaking for myself, I should be relieved of my duties.
Yes, Agenda.
Trevor, I'm just wondering, are we witnessing SG Sifuna's political Bermuda Triangle? Is he sinking?
Is Sifuna sinking?
Yes, is he on his own? Because clearly, he seems to pull in a different direction from the officials who have been appointed. In fact, I do not know if SG Sifuna would be speaking the same language if he was designated Attorney General under Article 156.
I would never. Boss, you know me. I'm not like you, Bernard.
Sifuna people have eaten their words.
No, I'm not like you.
This is what they say.
I'm not like you.
Okay.
Let me tell you this, Trevor, that all these four respectable gentlemen, the Honorable John Badi, the Honorable Hassan Joho, the Honorable Pio Andai, the Honorable Wycliffe of Paranya, many months ago, would have said the same words that SG Sifuna is saying right here. But when they got the presidential nod, they got right into government. And this would not have been without the blessing of Baba. But they did not need Sifuna's blessings. And that's the problem here. And I'll tell you this. I think even for those who serve in political parties, there's the bigger national conversation. In April 2010, His Excellency President Kibaki then appointed a government of national unity and incorporated various members of ODM then. So I think we are in the same scenario where the bigger ideal, which is service to the people, must override the selfish interests and philosophies of political parties towards a bigger calling, which is service to the people. Now, if he's talked about what ODM stands for, what it stands for, that I agree with. But John Badi is CS Treasury. He will control the national purse and will ensure that every vote from ministries will and shall be implemented through the approval of his pen, because he'll be the CS Treasury. He will oversight, Trevor, devolve funds going to counties. We, for instance, have, I think, the June remittances have not been done. John Badi will oversee that. This is a crucial minister. Yet, as Sifuna rightly observes, under Article 97(1) and 103(1)(d) of the Constitution, John Badi, Opio and I will have to resign their positions, both from Parliament and then, of course, from political parties, including Joho and Wycliffe, to be appointed or to be vetted to be CSs. Yeah. So it is true that they'll vacate their positions, and new members will then be elected.
Yeah.
I'm fearing for my learned friend, Sifuna. It seems that if the philosophies of ODM and UDA, which seem, as I talked about rapprochement, he's talked about the DA party in South Africa with the ANC, an unusual coalition. In Italy, we've had the same experience where we have parties working together unusually. Yeah. Then we have cohabitation in France, where parties, Tunisia, France, and other Anglophone democracies, where you find that very unusual political parties come together to form a government. And I've talked about rapprochement here. I've talked about cohabitation out there. In this case, we are witnessing some form of cohabitation where philosophies of ODM, through some of the officials who will be appointed, will be merged into the ideals of the UDA government to ensure that the bottom-up approach is achieved, albeit in a manner that respects some of the ideals that SG Sifuna is talking about. And that is not difficult, because this government now stands for a people-friendly agenda that must be delivered in response to the demands by the Gen Z, in response to the demands by those who rose and spoke against non-inclusivity. And that is why it's a government of national unity. We have seen faces. We have seen the minister, the CS irrigation, for instance, is a 32-year-old gentleman. We have seen some Gen Zs in this government. We have seen agenda incorporation. We have 6 CSS who are female. We have, in terms of the regional balance, Central Kenya, I think, has the biggest number in this group. They have 6 CSS. For now, Nyanza, with the entry of Migos Ongamba, has 3 cabinet secretaries for the first time. We have the Rival region having a reduced number of CSS. So, in my view, Trevor, this is a government of national unity. Let us embrace it so that we can see delivery from a government that is incorporated every sector and every region of this country.
All right. Sige, there's this issue of a document that shows whether there's a national government, and Sifuna asked this during the break, that can you show him something that shows this is a national government, unity government?
Before I respond to that, Trevor, times like this, not only in Kenya, across the global world, requires a measured approach to issues, especially in a political environment. When you asked my good friend Sifuna about his position as the SG, whether he's speaking for himself or not, the tone at which this came out is very important. When you have got 4 top officials of a party, the chairman, who, by the way, is, I believe, the chairperson of the disciplinary committee, if I'm not wrong. I don't know.
He's not.
He's not. Okay, fine. But he sits in some process of some sort in the party. The party minority leader in parliament and the 2 deputy party leaders joining a government, you definitely would want to ask yourself the question whether this is just an aspect of infight within the party or not. But I wouldn't want to go to ODM and its issues. I want us to look at the perspective of where are we as at now when we have got 4 members, top officials of a party, joining the coalition that is running the government. And I would want us to agree that, you know, we need to look at the formation of a government of national unity in the context of where we have come from. And this is why I said, when we sat down, we started with actually the bipartisan team after the demonstrations in 2022 early. Thereafter, the NADCO came in. 8-point agenda was set up. People from both the coalition that is in the opposition and the ruling coalition sat down together and picked up the conversation that was now picked the other day by the Gen Zs. Now, it is not all about now the decision of Mbadi as an individual or Opiyo and I as an individual to join the government, because the issues which led to this conversation were boiled up during that time when the president signed the IEBC bill. And nobody, including my learned friend and my colleague, Senator Sifuna, has said there are issues, for instance, with regard to the act that is a product of the bipartisan engagement in the NADCO committee. So, as to whether or not we are dealing with our oppositions to manage the politics out there, that's a different conversation. The reality and where we are as at now is that we have set up a government of national unity, and we are looking forward to the vetting of these nominees so that we support the agenda. That is not the agenda set up by the Kenya Kwanza government alone, but now the agenda that has been picked up out of the bipartisan talks in the NADCO, and also the issues raised by the Gen Zs when they took up the arms and went out to the streets and said, look, this is what we would want, this is the direction we want to look at Kenya. And among them, by the way, is the aspect on taxation, which when you listen to, I think the clips yesterday you ran, previous comments by the Honorable Mbadi in Parliament, the comments by the Honorable Opiyo and I in Parliament, and among the rest of those people, I mean, whoever does not change in itself is, you know, I mean, change is as good as progress. And therefore, it does not necessarily mean that this is the position I took last year and the same position still subsists today. We are bound to change as human beings. And for purposes of leadership, the representation at the moment with regards to this team does not answer the concern by Sifuna, where he said that my good friend Mbadi and the 3 other colleagues, I believe there is a 5th one, I don't know, that will probably be joining, is going to be a team of the minority. This is a whole government approach. It will be a whole cabinet approach to issues, to decisions, and to programs that the government going forward will be dealing with. So it's not going to be about Mbadi being alone. And as a matter of fact, by the way, this is not the government that will be having programs run by others besides the normal engagement that comes at the cabinet level. So I do not foresee a mini cabinet happening at 9, ending at 10, when the rest of the members are joining. It doesn't happen that way. And so allow me to just conclude and say, look, I am very sure Honorable Sifuna, when he asks the question about the document that he has not signed, and you've equally asked me that question, at the end of the day, we will be having a government of national unity that has got not only ODM, but Kenyans. And when you look at the composition of the entire cabinet now, it's actually capturing the region, being region Kenya. From the north to the south, from the east to the west, and central, all are represented. And it definitely have to watch that bit.
Is it possible that this could have happened without the knowledge of the party leader?
I have told you there's a distinction between knowledge and blessing. Process is important, my brothers. These two friends of mine are lawyers, and I've said they understand. Tom Ojienda understands that process is important. We're always saying the same thing. I started by saying that there is no table that I will not go to. I don't consider William Ruto such a bad person that I cannot have a conversation with him. There is no one I cannot have a conversation with, Trevor. We all understand that it is in times of crisis such as this that leadership must emerge. I have been on record saying, and I remember even getting into trouble with some of the people online, I will talk to anyone. I will talk, because at the end of the day, that is the way out of the current crisis. We need to be able to come to a table and have a conversation about how we resolve these issues. These two colleagues are also senators like myself. A few weeks ago, we had a conversation with Aaron Cheruiyot, a person that I have come to greatly respect because of the way that he has conducted himself in the past few days, and understanding that the nation is greater than all of us. Sifuna is not averse to having conversations about the nation, about anyone. You know, so we sat down with Aaron Cheruiyot and we said, there are things that we have done wrong. All of us have contributed to the current state of affairs. Can we have a conversation? And I was very proud, Trevor. Yesterday, the Senate passed a motion to require some of these things that we've been saying are preconditions. For instance, compensation of the people who were shot and killed during the Maandamano or hurt, compensation of businesses that have been destroyed. We have called for an amnesty for all the people who were arrested during peaceful protests. And you saw some of that in the president's speech. This is a result of a conversation, an honest conversation about the state of affairs of our country. I am not averse to conversations. But process is important because it lays out what the responsibilities and expectations of both parties are going to be. When Raila Odinga got into government with Mwai Kibaki, there was a guiding document, 4 agenda items, and this is what we're going to expect, and this needs to be done, and if this doesn't done, the coalition collapses, and so on and so forth. That document doesn't have to be signed by Sifuna. If my party leader enters into an agreement like that and it is sanctioned by the organs of the party, I am also bound. I am telling you, Trevor, that as of today, I need to bear true witness to members of ODM. Members of ODM, I speak for members of ODM. I have to bear true witness to them as to the records of the party and what has happened in the meetings of the party. There is no document. Tom Ojienda is a member of only one organ of the party, and he doesn't even attend PG meetings. When was the last time Ojienda attended PG meetings? I take records of those meetings. I have not seen him in a PG since he went to State House. He doesn't know what the party is talking about. So you cannot ask him about the conversations within ODM. All we are saying, Trevor, is it is possible for the president to appoint individuals. He has seen the talent in John Mbadi or whoever else. He can appoint them. If you ask me as SG of ODM, I'm not going to present a name of a person who will necessitate a by-election, that I have to go back to the ground and start campaigning for a position. Yet there are many members of ODM, some of them who lost elections, some of them who have never been elected, and they have the talent. They have never been looked at because of the party affiliation that they hold. As SG, I have a global view of all the talent in the party. I am not going to present 4 men. I am going to present 2 women and two men. That is what I do. I'm going to present a name of a youth because the issues that are being raised right now have a lot to do with young people. You are telling me there are no young people in ODM. I am not going to take somebody from a position that he is already holding to give him another position. It is not possible. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. These are individuals who were tapped by the president directly. It was not a conversation in the party.
Okay. And what does that mean for ODM now?
It doesn't mean anything. ODM as a party will remain a party. It is possible for people to leave the party. How many people have left ODM? The party has remained. And as I said, what I expect is that these people will now vacate these party positions to allow the party to refresh itself. Let them pursue we don't begrudge them. Let them pursue their own personal ambitions without having to tether the party to a decision that they took as individuals.
And what does this mean for Azimio? Because the other coalition members have disowned ODM.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody has disowned ODM. Nobody has disowned ODM. You know, you people in the media, you try to sow discord for nothing. I was speaking to members of Azimio yesterday. Nobody has disowned ODM.
All of them have said they are not.
Nobody has disowned ODM. You would have to show me a resolution of Azimio saying they have disowned ODM. They have not disowned ODM.
You're talking about there's a difference between paperwork.
No. You can
just
play a clip.
Right
okay, do you have video?
Yes.
Do you have
video? Bring it up. Most of
do
them
you have video? Just show me. Show me a video.
Just the other day,
just a minute. Just a minute. All these political parties have structures. They speak through their officials. They have resolutions. If you can show me a meeting of WIPA, National Executive Committee, that resolved that they are done with ODM or that they are leaving the Azimio coalition, then we can speak. Trevor, you are saying things that don't exist. Don't force things. Trevor. At the end of the day, these political parties had different views on some of these things. Yeah. I'm telling you, at the joint PG of Azimio, I was there. You can ask me. These two were not there. He never attends PG meetings.
No, I was in that. Do.
Yeah. You don't. I'm the one who takes minutes here. Ojienda, you never attend meetings. He was not at the... Just a minute. He was not at the ODM PG. He was not at the Azimio PG. At the Azimio PG, because all these other political parties had met. So the first thing we did when we started the meeting of the Azimio PG is to read the resolutions of the different political parties. And I read the resolutions as SG on behalf of ODM. I remember the Senator for Kitui giving the resolutions of WIPA. And by the way, do you know, out of all those political parties, there were some that said they are opposed to dialogue, for instance. DAP Kenya were on record saying they want nothing to do with any national conversation. We have taken the position that we can talk to anyone. WIPA said they are willing to talk. Kalonzo Musyoka was our lead in the NADCO talks that resulted in some of these bills that my brother is talking about. Yeah. He is not averse to the conversation. The Jubilee team also said they are not willing to engage with William Ruto in terms of any particular conversation, which is a position that we respect. Trevor, do you know what the coalition document says about disagreement in the coalition? It says that if you are not able to reach a common position, because decisions of the coalition have to be taken by consensus. Yeah. If you are not able to reach consensus, you are supposed to put it to a vote. There is no way we can put any matter in Azimio to a vote at a PG, because ODM is going to always to win. We have the numbers to win, but we never do that because as a party, we respect that these decisions have to be reached together by consensus. So
according to you, Azimio is still intact?
Azimio is still intact. I have not seen any ODM political party. ODM has not left Azimio. There's no such resolution. And when I speak like this, you'll ask me, are you speaking for yourself or the party?
Yeah, so
I speak for organs of the party. If an organ of the party, if you resolve the decision to join Azimio, I was still the SG then. Last year before the election, it went through started at the Central Committee, a report by the party leader that he has been engaging in these conversations. It was ratified. It went to the National Executive Committee of the party. It was ratified. Yeah. I called the NGC. It was ratified at Bomas, and we took it all the way to the National Delegates Convention. It was ratified. So I can speak authoritatively for these organs of the party because I was there when those resolutions were being made, and it is my mandate to do so. So as we speak right now, Trevor, there is no resolution of any organ of ODM to disassociate ourselves from Azimio. And because we respect these partners, we are going to insist on consensus building on all these controversial issues. And I'm not aware of any decision of any of those constituent parties to abandon Azimio.
Trevor, just two things. Number one, SG Sifuna cannot speak from both sides of his mouth. He cannot say that in as much as the four nominees are mandated under Articles 103(1)(d), 97(1) to resign before vetting, that they leave ODM and go into government because ODM did not give a nod. Yet, he's also struggling with the philosophies of ODM being incorporated in government. I think he must make a choice.
What are you saying?
They go into government.
Have you understood what he's saying?
Yes, they go into government as ODM. You cannot now say that they are not ODM. These are top officials of ODM. They go into government as ODM. They will drive.
I thought I said it was not sanctioned.
Okay. Yes, it was not sanctioned.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but you must board now.
No, I am not boarding.
You must board.
You can't force me to board. I'm not Miguna. You think you'll deport me from my own country?
No,
you can't force me to board, man. I will not board.
Officials of ODM.
Yeah.
And therefore, they will represent, they are the gentlemen who will drive the ODM agenda in government.
Okay.
And that cannot be gainsaid.
In your view, they're joining as ODM?
That cannot be gainsaid. They're ODM, they will be ODM as they join in government. They'll just resign from party positions. But they will not resign as members of ODM party. They will remain as ODM. The same way, Trevor, as I continued engaging the Kenya Kwanza government, then from February when Sifuna thought I'd lost direction.
You have.
Now they have found direction. You've come where I am.
I am not with you.
You are with
where?
me.
I'm not with you.
We are together.
I'm not with you. I'm not with you, brother. Don't force me to be with
but
you.
We are together.
Yeah.
In the end, we are together, pulling in one direction with the greater interest of the country. But let me say this.
Okay.
They
are forced marriage. The guy said this guy is forcing me into a marriage.
They asked me your
Talk to me nicely.
No, you
can't force things.
You have come where
you have to wine and dine me first.
No, you
can't just force yourself.
You do that.
What's wrong with you?
Trevor, the Azimio Constitution as a large framework, and Sifuna is right, that the ODM will remain as part of Azimio insofar as the execution of the legislative mandate of Azimio is concerned in both houses, because ODM still has the majority membership, and Azimio as a political party, as he says rightly, cannot disengage from ODM, because ODM is Azimio to the extent that it has the numbers. But let me move to the second point. The second point is this, that even if Azimio tried expelling or removing ODM from its fold, it would be impossible. It is a long, drawn-out process, and unfortunately, ODM is the majority. So I don't know why my learned friend Sifuna would worry about his position as whip of Azimio is safe. They can't do nothing. They can do nothing about it. But there are also two slots, Trevor, that are remaining. There's a slot for the Minister for East African Community, Penina Malonza, which has not been filled. There's a slot for the Attorney General, which has not been filled.
Yeah.
I bet, and you can take this to the bank, that one of the Azimio parties will fill one or both of these positions.
Will that be you?
I see. No, Trevor, I don't intend to take any appointive position. That's not a possibility. But I can bet that one of the members from the other coalition members of Azimio will be Attorney General. I bet that a member from the other coalition partners will join this slot of the ESC ministry.
Yeah.
And I want us to come back on that day with Sifuna, and we can talk about these issues.
Okay.
Because Azimio is coming into government, the greater government.
I thought you said this was my last show.
Okay.
You said I'm not coming back.
If you don't, you need the blessing.
I thought he said he's not coming back.
But
but Ojenda, you must admit one thing. You must admit one thing, that even if the two remaining slots are taken by members of Azimio, you want there to be a process. I don't know why you're not understanding what I'm saying.
So
it has to be a resolution of both political parties.
In politics,
so your issue here is a process.
I'm telling you, process is the only reason why you can come and claim that ODM has joined government.
Okay.
In the absence of that, and in the absence of these documents that we have spoken about, an agreement as to what we are getting ourselves into, our expectations of the parties, the timelines of things we want to see done, how it's going to be done. If it doesn't work, what happens? The way that we had the National Accord in the aftermath of the 2007 general election, then there is nothing for you to pin ODM on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beauty, Trevor, is that there is never justiciability in matters concerning political parties. Usually, the tribunal exists, the political parties tribunal, to iron out disputes. And normally, so you can have a top-down approach where once the principals agree, you are then directed down here to draw documents. It is never, there's no hard, first rule on this question.
Because you don't know. You don't know how ODM works.
The top can.
You don't know how ODM works.
You'll be directed.
I'm telling
Wait
you
for
that is not how it works.
Yes. But does this resolve the issues that the Gen Zs brought out? We're too stuck on the issue of whether ODM has joined government or not, but does this resolve the issue?
Actually, it does.
How?
Trevor, actually, it does. The how, the when, the who is this team that has been coalesced by the president in setting up the new cabinet positions. And listening to Sifuna and listening to Kenyans out there and watching the space and listening again to Professor Tom Ojienda, you know, we do not want to be sort of hypocritical in the positions that we take at the end of the day, Trevor. And we must call it what it is. Sifuna's spirit, you know, from what we've just come out of the national conversation that we had in the bipartisan motion that we all spoke to in Senate as colleagues in terms of the issues which were based and ultimately the resolutions which we passed yesterday. The spirit of Honorable Sifuna wants to have a conversation that will take Kenya to the next level. Taking Kenya to the next level means having everybody on the deck so that we run this ship on one direction. And this is exactly what the president is trying to do. As to whether or not then Sifuna is not approval of the appointment or the nomination, of Mbadi or Opiyo Wandayi or Oparanya or Joho or whoever, merely because either one he personally is looking at, we needed to have younger people or we needed to have other people of various disciplines other than the four who've been appointed, that is a different conversation. Such that it's true, Sifuna would want us to agree we still have a challenge as regards the process leading to where we are right now. But deep inside him, which I know, he wants us to run a government that is comprising of everyone, that is going to deal with issues which were raised. And by the way, as a matter of fact, in the resolutions which we passed in that motion in the Senate, besides the resolutions to the various committees, from Committee on Health, from Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, from the Committee on Devolution, it has highlighted very specific areas which will be very busy going forward, because we would want to look at those issues and say, what is it that we'll need to do as the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to amend certain legislations and laws to ensure that aspects on corruption are dealt with in a structured manner. EACC is given the relevant support that it needs in terms of timelines. How do we have a conversation with judiciary to make sure that if matters corruption are reported, people have been charged, there are certain timelines within which we are supposed to deal with these cases so that we resolve the issues, the questions and the concerns that Kenyans in the course of the demonstrations last year, in the course of the Gen Z's demonstrations, and the issues they highlighted are dealt with. Yeah. And so we just need to be able to look at these issues and differentiate the personalities, differentiate the desires, and the reality that has happened. Because Kenyans celebrated yesterday as to the nomination of these people. Of course, it is not everyone, it is not everybody who was happy, who celebrated. And I'm very sure at the end of the day, we will arrive at a position where we are saying, if we have issues with Mbadi, people will raise concerns in the selection committee in Parliament about his qualification, about his position. ODM party will equally, if they have. And I'm really looking forward to see that if it's about Mbadi as a person having joined the cabinet or as a member of ODM, those issues will come at the point when the selection panel will be dealing with these issues. Okay. Now, looking at the other members of the Azimio coalition, Kalonzo Musyoka has talked and said, look, we are not supporting this aspect of coming together. Wamalwa Kijana similarly has said the same thing. Givuta Kibwana has said that. So it is not true that these other coalition members of ODM who've come out clearly are in support of this. They are not supporting it. And the party that has opted to join, let them move on. One of the things that I know is the reason as to why someone like Kalonzo Musyoka is not boarding is because of interest.
Yeah.
And Trevor, politics is all about interest.
Okay.
If Kalonzo Musyoka's, if Kionis, if Kivuta Kibwana's, if their interests are not part of what is in the table, they will always run away. Okay. Looking for the next opportunity to come that will protect their interest for them to join. And so we should be a bit factual from where we are now as to the things that have happened and the direction that we are heading to. And I'm looking forward to coming back here on this table when Sifuna will be saying now, the spirit then was we need to join the government. And here now, the facts and the documents and the processes and the procedures have now been fully aligned. We are working together as one in a government of national unity. And we are building Kenya, be a better Kenya.
Sifuna, having worked with these 4 gentlemen that you're talking about, the top leadership of ODM, do you believe that they have what it takes to inject the much-needed reforms that the Gen Zs were pushing?
I cannot question the competence of John Mbadi, for instance. He's a man that I greatly respect. I just fear for the environment that he's going to get himself in. It is not just about you being parachuted into cabinet. Government is not just cabinet. And Trevor, my reservations are that without a guiding document, it is going to be impossible for Mbadi to find his way around a Kenya Kwanza cabinet, essentially. So what was required, if I was asked, I would have wanted that because he knows the proposals we made in our own manifesto, the proposals that have been made by the Kenya Kwanza team. John Mbadi voted against the finance bill. He did. Because he knows from his perspective that you cannot continue to impose taxes on Kenyans at the current state of affairs. So I would have loved if the engagement was between party and party, you would have had a document similar to the National Accord that sets out what the party's expectations are, the things that we are all giving up, the things that we are not willing to give up, the things that we are willing to do, and the things that we are not willing to do. I would want him to be taken on a course on this thing called bottom-up. I know Mbadi. He doesn't know what bottom-up is. He doesn't believe in that philosophy. So for you to parachute him there, and then you say that he is going to... Mbadi is a good man. I know him. He doesn't believe in this thing you talk about bottom-up.
So why is he there then?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. That is the importance of having a national conversation about what has worked, what hasn't worked, the things that we need to abandon, the things that we do not want to abandon. But it does not support the housing levy. I know that for a fact. That is the position of a party. So for you to parachute him in there and then tell him, cabinet has resolved because he's a minority there that we are going to build these houses come rain or come sunshine. It is going to be a very uncomfortable situation for him.
Yesterday.
That's what do you mean? So, Trevor, you know these guys, I told you these people will come here to echo me. If you look at the entirety of the cabinet, and I believe that President Ruto has lost an opportunity here. Because if you saw that the Gen Z and even the entire public were very supportive of the move to dismiss the entire cabinet. Because I have held this position on this same table that many of those cabinet secretaries were incompetent. Now, for you to bring back Murkomen, to bring back Chirchir, to bring back Kindiki, to bring back Duale, then you add a sprinkling of Mbadi. It doesn't communicate. It doesn't communicate to the people that you are serious about doing the things that the people have asked you to do. There is nothing that is going to change, Trevor. I am also a prophet. There's things that I have prophesied on this same chair, and they have come to pass. I can assure you, Mbadi cannot save Kindiki from himself. Mbadi cannot cure the problem of Duale. Mbadi cannot cure Murkomen and his love for luxury. So, even as we send these 4 people, as you say, they are going there as members of ODM, I can assure you we will be back here. And Trevor, I will never shy away. Fearlessness did not begin yesterday. Nobody can enter into a debate with me about fearlessness. I don't fear anything. I don't fear anyone. I will come to this very show and we will give it time. Give it time. The prophecies of Sifuna also come true. It's not just the ones for...
So what are you prophesying?
I am prophesying that nothing is going to change. Because there is no way, if you don't agree on a philosophical basis, there is no way you can implement anything in that sort of government. And government is not cabinet. Government is the whole thing. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So you need a broad-based conversation about what the things we need to do are, the priorities of the people of Kenya, and then we agree that this is what we're going to do. It's not supposed to be a comfortable discussion. Okay. There are things you have to give in. There are things you have to give up. But if you don't have that conversation, just parachuting somebody, even if Mbadi is Superman, he can't save Kindiki. Okay,
before I bring in Ojienda on this, what is the process now going forward? Because it's not the people of ODM members are wondering, okay, so your chairman has left, your two party leaders have left, minority leaders left. What is the structure in terms of process now?
That's what I'm telling you. That one of the things I genuinely believe, Trevor, is that ODM has talent. I can give you 10 names of people who can replace Sifuna as SG today. And they will do a splendid job. Okay. So it is not that somebody leaving is going to... no, you can't be SG.
I can't.
You have no idea. You have no relationship with the party. You don't even know what the party stands for. At the drop of a hat today, you can be UDA. Yeah? You know. Tom, I have a lot of respect for you as my senior in the profession. Yeah. But I have very little respect for you as a politician because you have no standing. You have no ideological grounding. You have moved. So the point is this, Trevor.
In terms of structure, so what happens? When are you going for the elections?
This party will survive all of us. Okay. I can assure you. Because there's people who have invested a lot of tears, sweat and blood in building this party called ODM. They will never let it die. I can assure you, if you go to the ground there, we can start with this village. Yeah. We can go to his village, then he'll say, I've transported people. and the good thing, Trevor, you were there. Who did you transport? Because I remember. No, you were there. By the way, we were all the four of us were there. Trevor, who did you transport? Because
he came with a crowd. He came with a crowd.
Just a minute, Trevor. Yeah. So the party will survive. The party, in fact, this is a very good opportunity for the party to reinvigorate itself. I want to see young people occupying these positions, by the way. And this is a dream that Baba has had. He has spoken about it himself. He spoke at the National Governing Council meeting at Bomas, and he has repeated it at several fora, that he believes in, he wants this party to survive beyond all of us who are there in the leadership of the party. Okay. I found this party with leadership. I will leave it with leadership. Okay. And it is an opportunity for us to re-energize ourselves. And I believe that if we do that, if we have opportunity to talk amongst ourselves and refocus the party to the interest of the people, I believe ODM will still survive.
So in terms of structure, how long should we expect this to happen? When are we electing a new chairman? Is he going to resign? Are you going to take him to the tribunal?
So
what happens?
What is expected, of course, is that they will have to vacate those positions before they go for vetting. And as soon as that happens, because the party has to continue, it would have been my desire to make sure that the vacancies don't exist for too long. Okay. Let the party move on. I mean, there is nothing that ties me to the chair of SG. Okay. You understand? And I want people like Kaluma to understand that Sifuna, I joined this party as a nobody. I don't have to be SG. I want Kaluma to be SG. Let him come here and explain to us bottom up. We see how well he will do.
In fact, his issue was that you're not speaking for the party anymore, and he said you should be ejected.
Exactly.
That's okay. That's okay. But he was at that PG. He was not the only member of parliament at that PG. Other members of parliament, in fact, when he was speaking in parliament, you had him being booed. Because the other members were telling him, what is this? There was no resolution like that, what he was trying to say. But I have a lot of respect for Kaluma as a senior professional or a senior of mine in the profession. I have a lot of respect for him. But the truth is, I cannot have been SG. This is my 7th year as SG, for heaven's sake. I cannot have been speaking for myself all this time. And by the way, Trevor, you look at my record. There is no single time that I have said anything on behalf of this party and been countermanded by the leadership of the party. No. Never happened. Because every single time that I go to speak for ODM, I say I'm speaking for ODM with the authority of the party and the authority of the organs of the party. So if I want to give a personal opinion, the ODM has leadership. What do you mean?
But the chair and the deputy chairs have all moved, and the minority...
That is what I'm saying. They moved yesterday. I'm giving you a historical account of the past 7 years I've been SG of ODM. When I want to give a personal opinion, Trevor, I will say this is my personal opinion. When I'm speaking for the party, I must have the authority of the party. Resolutions of the organs of the party are binding on me. Okay. And by the way, There have been unpopular decisions, even within ODM. But all of us, once the whip is applied, we have to comply. I give you the example of course, Ojienda wasn't there. He doesn't even know. There was a PG some few years back.
Yeah.
No, this is not a member of ODM. We alichukua tu ticket. He has no idea what ODM is and how it operates. There was a PG on supporting Uhuru Kenyatta's proposal on increasing taxes on fuel. It was one of the stormiest PGs I've ever attended. And members of parliament were rightly or wrongly opposed to that measure. But at the end of the day, once the resolution has been passed, because in a political party such as ODM, you don't expect that all the time people will agree on a point of view. There's always going to be dissenting voices. Even in this other PG, there are people who say they don't see any problem with us having an engagement. There are those who say they don't want to talk to Ruto. Yeah. It is like that. But you try and take a measure of the general consensus, and then you say this is the position of the party. We will defend positions taken by the party. Okay. But if a position does not originate from the party, you will never hear me defend that position. It's not possible.
All right, Ojienda.
Trevor, again, I get back to Sifuna. We are clear that under 101, 1D, these members will resign their positions and take up cabinet positions. Yeah. If it is true, as Sifuna says, if at all it is true, and I know it is not true, that these members did not have the nod of the party leader or the sanction of the party to join government, let Sifuna write to them the letters he wrote to us and drag them through the disciplinary process. I challenge him.
But I never wrote you any letters. You don't know how ODM works.
John Badi wrote to us.
Talk to him.
And he brought the
Talk to him. So you don't know how ODM works. I have never written you a letter. I am so disappointed in you. I don't even have to communicate anything.
Let him.
That is not the role of
the party have a process of trying to remove the members from ODM, if at all. He's saying they did not sanction this process. On the contrary, Trevor, and I can tell you, you can take this to the bank. You know, when I see political leaders nearing their political end, it's called the political Waterloo in leadership in the party. I can see one here. Is Sifuna trying to prepare us for his exit? Is he prepare?
Why do I need to prepare you?
He's trying to prepare.
Ojienda, I owe you nothing.
No,
I owe you nothing. I don't need to prepare. Did I prepare you when I was coming as SGO for
No, are you unhappy?
You didn't even know.
Are you unhappy?
You didn't even know. You don't even know where I came from.
If you're unhappy in our party, then you can leave us.
Look at the people saying our party. Oh my goodness.
Let me move Trevor. Sifuna has pointed to Badi's role in the party. In Badi's role in government. Yeah. Once you join government, collective responsibility.
That's the problem.
Will enjoin Badi to work together with all these CSS. And by the way, he mentions Professor Kindiki and Aden Duale and Soipan Tui and others. These are some of the best performing CSS.
Oh my God.
And that is why they were reappointed. The president did not reappoint these CSS because he likes them. He reappointed them on the basis of the nod they got from Kenyans, including Kipchumba Murkomen, who, as he says, has a love for luxury and performance are strange bedfellows. These are two different things. Let us judge a man for what he has done, not for what he loves. And let's move to the second point. Yeah. All these appointees gel very well into some of the agenda of Gen Zs. I've talked about some Gen Zs being in this group, but also in a government of national unity, shades of opinion must be represented in government. Diversity, inclusivity, gender must be included in government. We see all that in this set of ministers. And as I said, there are two positions that are still vacant. But Sifuna must not drag us to... Sifuna has no monopoly of the philosophies of ODM from the grassroots. We have shreds, and I can see... I told you, I saw when Badi was appointed yesterday, our whole village went... you even saw the video yourself.
How do you know I saw the video?
You saw.
We were not with you.
No.
Speak for yourself. No. I have not seen any videos. I was in prayer. I was in prayer the whole night.
Ordinary,
and then thinking about the future of this part.
Ordinary Luo people from Nyanza without shoes, very excited at the appointment of Honorable Badi. And this seems to I think this reverberated in all the sub-counties. Opiyo Wandayi, for instance, a gentleman who has been elected a third time from Mugunja. I saw the backyard. People were happy at his appointment. Honorable Joe, people in Mombasa were celebrating. Why is Sifuna thinking that the people are not happy? These people move with the party. Let me tell you, Oparanya, who is the commander of ODM in Western. Sifuna is from Nairobi, though he's from Western, he's from Ugoma, but he's from Nairobi. Western is very happy as we speak this morning. They have two of their sons, Oparanya and Mudavadi, in government. And the speaker, the Honorable...
Ojenda, you cannot even speak for your own village.
No.
You can't even speak for your own village. How are you speaking for Western?
Mr. Sifuna,
you have no authority to speak even for your own village. I was there.
Now that you come...
We were all there.
Now that you came to my village... welcomed you, and you came with all those people, which was fine. all those people have also moved. Next time you come, they have moved. You are the one we will still give you a welcome, but this time round, they will be telling you, we are in government.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can bet that the next time you are coming in here on this table, Senator Sifuna will have equally moved.
To where?
I can bet. Okay. Now, Trevor,
I'll give you a chance to
Trevor. You know, it's all about change where we are now. It's all about the peace that we're talking about. Every other Kenyan, for the last 3 weeks or so, including business community, and the rest of us have sat back and asked ourselves the big question. We do not need to be in this situation for long. So it's all about the desire for change, the desire to have a peaceful country, and above all, unity and unity of purpose to deliver to the people of Kenya the services they desire.
But what really is changing?
Do that,
you keep saying you're talking about change. What really is changing? When you look at this cabinet, it's pretty much the same people.
Correct. Thank you.
So what has changed now?
Change, Trevor, is change. Just as simple as I can put it.
But are you seeing it?
In terms of the personalities who are in the office, for example, Sifuna, today in the morning, when we started all this, has definitely told you there are 4 members of ODM, Hassan Joho, from the Standard, the headline, Joho, Oparanya, Opiyo Wandayi, John Mbadi. Isn't that a change from what we had before? Let's all be factual. I mean, when we talk about the desire to change, first of all, is even accepting the fact that there is a problem.
I think the question is asking, Wakili.
No.
Wakili, the question is asking is, has Kindiki changed? Has Kindiki changed?
Very well. I understood.
No, that is the question. Has Kindiki changed? Or Duale?
When these people were put into cabinet, when the first batch was set up, and they have been reappointed by the president, subject, of course, for nomination. Those are some of the questions that they will be asked. For instance, from the time you got into office to the time the president dissolved cabinet, what are the deliverables that you can speak to for the people of Kenya? As to whether or not now they have changed, the question is, what led to their dissolution and what led to their being reappointed to cabinet? And as I say, we must speak to facts. We must all accept to give in to certain changes, to certain demands for some of these things to be achieved. When we look at the people who've been reappointed, the president definitely must have looked at their performance for the period they have been in office. The Gen Zs, when they went to the streets, demanded certain things to be done, among them the dissolution of cabinet.
Yeah. So the president discovered their performance just after 2 weeks out of office. So why didn't he just leave
this conversation, when you look at the Gazette notice that the president used to dissolve his cabinet, he did not in any single paragraph of that Gazette notice said that the Honorable Kithure Kindiki has failed to perform, or Kipchumba Murkomen has failed to perform, or Hayden Duale has failed to perform. He did not. He said, and I would invite you to look at that Gazette notice. We've discussed this in another forum. Nobody among the cabinet secretaries who were dismissed the other day were dismissed because of non-performance. None. And I can challenge you to check the Gazette notice.
So why were they
This
dismissed?
was a reaction and a response to the demands for change by the people of Kenya through the demonstration.
But then they were brought back.
Now, you don't just do it because people have said it, Trevor.
So why did you do it then?
You do it because...
You're saying you did this based on the clamor of the Gen Zs.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. He has changed by bringing back those who have performed and relieving of those who did not, according to his assessment, meet the qualifications for bringing them back to cabinet.
So
and that is a vote of confidence on them all. And so we are saying we should accept that we are, we are talking as if we are all holier than thou. Trevor, we are not. We have got our deficiencies in our performance, but that does not warrant a dismissal of an entire cabinet.
Okay.
I mean, these guys, these ladies and gentlemen who've been in cabinet, they have done a good job.
Okay.
I'm very, I'm happy with the zeal and sort of gusto that Senator Sifuna talks about certain personalities, for instance, in Badi. It is not about to remain as it is.
Okay.
It is not going to remain as is. Things will be different.
Yeah.
We will definitely look forward to a better teamwork from the cabinet to the rest of us who are also going to be oversighting them to deliver to the people of Kenya.
All right.
And we should be ready for that.
Trevor,
are you unhappy at
Trevor, let me answer the question he has refused to answer.
Also, answer Tom.
I have answered.
He asked you whether you are unhappy at ODM and are you preparing us for your exit? You can answer both of them.
No, let me begin with Ojenda. Because, Ojenda is a Johnny Come lately in ODM. He has no idea what the philosophy of the party is. If you ask him the values of ODM, he will not be able to tell you what those values are, how we process our issues, and so on and so forth. Trevor, this political party is a party that I strongly believe in. Even if I was to leave the position of SG, I would not vacate ODM. I would remain a member of ODM because I believe this party is a party of the future. This is the party that is going to deliver the dream of Kenyans. And it has never been about me. I mean, I have always said that change for everyone is good for everyone. It doesn't have to involve me. Even when the Gen Zs are in the streets and they're saying, Fagia Wote. It's okay. I also want to live in a government run by buddies. I will be very happy in that government, by the way. Let me just tell you the truth. It doesn't have to be me. We just want a guarantee that the government that will be in place will work for everyone. You'll put policies that make sense to everyone. Now, the question that he doesn't want to answer is what has changed. And I can say without fear of contradiction that nothing has changed. Kindiki is the same person he was before he left cabinet. I am the senator of Nairobi. We are the epicenter of this maandamano. Trevor, even as late as yesterday, you still saw police officers spraying that pink water into people's houses in pipeline. They have terrorized Nairobi residents in Roysambu. People are still being abducted from the streets by goons in balaclavas and covering their faces. We have seen videos of people in unmarked cars, presumably security people, firing at people, Senator. So you need to show me how has Kindiki's philosophy changed? I can assure you Kindiki is the same person. He will speak the same language. And I feel bad for my brother John Badi. He's the only one of those 4 people that I really care for. Because I have a relationship with him.
You don't care about the other 2?
I'm caring in the manner of this is somebody I've worked with closely, you know. So I really feel bad for him that he would be defending a position that is taken by Kindiki to bludgeon people in the houses in Nyalenda. I am telling you, if the philosophy of the entire government has not changed, Trevor, we are doing nothing and it doesn't communicate to the public that we are listening as a leadership, that there are things that we want to do. So my problem is, Trevor, we laid certain conditions. You need to communicate to the country that you are changing. We have asked for the resignation of the Nairobi police boss, Adamson Bungei, because we believe he has blood on his hands. You have things happening like the happenings in Kware. No Kenyan trusts this government to be telling the truth. We need to communicate as a leadership that something has changed. We have a trust deficit. My brother, people don't trust us as politicians.
So what has the president addressed by
this? This is what I'm saying. If he had won himself some goodwill by firing the entire cabinet, bringing them back does not inspire the confidence that we are listening as a leadership. I believe he has squandered an opportunity for him to demonstrate to the people of the Republic of Kenya, because what people are looking for is competence and suitability and personal integrity in these offices. If people don't believe that you are competent or suitable for office, he says that there is there is no problem with people who have affinity for luxury. And that it doesn't affect your work. Trevor, I'm telling you, as a person who has been poor, it is easier to get off from a 3-inch mattress in the morning to go and hustle than from this mattress that Tom Ojenda sleeps on with silk sheets and thread counts. They go to shops to buy sheets for the bed based on the number of threads that a bed sheet has. It is easier for the person hustling, sleeping on the floor, to get up and go to work. You cannot tell us that you encourage people who have affinity for luxury to be in public service. Those two things are mutually exclusive. So it doesn't communicate that we are listening. It doesn't communicate that we are listening. As a senator of Nairobi, Nairobi has borne the brunt of the maandamano and the protest. We want to see something being done. We don't want this situation to persist. I have said we need to engage ourselves in a conversation. I am not averse to having a conversation with anyone. That there are things that we cannot continue doing the way that we've been doing them. And if you don't give out that vibe, then you're going to lose the public and you're going to lose the people.
Will you be able to hold the government accountable as the opposition now that you seem to have been, you're in between?
We are not in between. You are trying to force us into that situation.
You, your members were there.
Trevor, please.
I'm just
I have tried to very passionately explain to you how this party works. And you know I know things about you and your ambitions. So please take these lessons, take these free lessons from the SG of ODM. Don't be like Ojenda. I am telling you, ODM is a structured party.
Yes.
It is a disciplined party. We listen to organs of the party. We subject every single decision to the organs of the party. If a party has not ratified a position, you cannot force us to accept that it has been ratified. These things are not to be left to deduction and analysis. As SG of ODM, I've told you, ODM is a very bold party. And the SG of ODM is a bold SG. If I want to join cabinet, I will say it. I will not leave it to interpretation. But I am telling you that resolution has not been made. So please, stop forcing us into this marriage. Why are you forcing us?
Will you be able to hold the government?
I am telling
some of your members,
I am telling you,
is one of them, already said that this is actually the position.
In fact, I can assure you, because I have so many questions, none of those 4 people have seen the need to speak to me. I have not understood the thinking and the reasoning for them joining government.
Yeah.
But if they are approved, then you know, at the Senate we also have powers to summon the CSS. I can assure you, Trevor, we are not going to change. We are going to remain the same people. We are going to hold people to account. We will put their feet in the fire. Yeah. If they get there and they start buying watches, because I also happen to know the watches that say Oparanya wears. Now, if I see any different watch on Oparanya's hand, he will have problems. We are not going to change. We are going to hold them accountable.
Ojenda also asked you whether but now the chairman has moved because you asked, a disciplinary letter was written to you.
Yes, yes.
So you asked you whether the same is going to be accorded.
That's what I'm telling you. Sifuna does not speak for himself. I need to communicate decisions that have been reached jointly. Okay. So you can't preempt. Yes,
it has not been.
We have not had any party meetings after the decision by these 4 to join government. So that is a decision that will be made.
When is the meeting?
Trevor,
you're the Secretary General.
That's what I'm telling you. Allow the processes of the ODM is a disciplined party. Okay. We don't make decisions like what is the name of that village of yours?
Trevor, I read a lot from the statements from the SG, and these are, he has spoken loudly, or his silence on the question of communication is very loud.
Which one?
He has said he has not spoken to any of these 4 appointees.
Yeah.
That's what he has said, that none of them has called him. Trevor, are we seeing all this? Is the trend leaving SG Sifuna behind? Because the trend has left the station.
I can tell you, yes, I can tell you, to any of them.
I can tell you, the ship of governance is meandering, or is going around and surmounting the oxbow legs of leadership, and you're being left behind.
That's fine.
Can you keep up? Because I can see if this guy is going to government and you don't communicate with them, you may find yourself alone out here.
Which one?
I encourage you to make that call.
No, I'm not like you, Ojenda. I'm not like you. I have a job.
You think he's going to be left behind?
Trevor.
Clearly, no. He's the one who said.
Let me
he said he has not spoken to nobody. He's a great friend.
Let me make this
friend.
Let me make this point.
Who has not even resigned yet?
The government has been in place for 2 years. None of those CSs call me. They don't call me. I have a job. I have a mandate. I was given a job by the people of Nairobi.
Yep.
I can do my job in the Senate.
That's okay.
I'm not like you who spends more time outside the Senate.
No. I spend more time.
You are canoodling with your friends in government.
No, you know very well.
I don't have to speak to any of these people. They will come to the Senate. They will find me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. My deputy whip knows that I perform well in that. I'm always there. I do my work. And I'm one of those. I think one of those. No.
Your whip is Khalwale. When was the last time I whipped you?
No, come on.
I am unable to whip you. You went to Khalwale's side. Let him be factual.
Let me respond to the substantive question. Oversight. Will ODM, of course, under Article 96 of the Constitution, Senate oversights government, will ODM be able to continue oversight in government? I think that is a continuous process, a question that SG Sifuna has responded to. I do not think that the entry of 4 members into government will diminish, lessen, or in any way interfere with the oversight that the opposition will do over government. And number 2, the way Senate works, speaking from the way Senate works, even when CSS come from whichever side, even the government side will often oversight because the function is a Senate function.
Okay.
So that shall continue.
All right.
That is in no way diminished. I think both for the National Assembly and Senate, I do not think that there's any threat or possibility that. But I think for me, there's a strength.
Yeah.
The strength is this, that now the CS Mbadi in Treasury will be able to communicate directly to his party or to the party, to ODM, on questions that touch on fiscal governance, fiscal policies, and will ensure that some of those ideals that he holds so dear will be implemented as he sits as CS through, of course, Treasury, but also through Cabinet.
Okay.
Because, Trevor, there's no way you can be in government and say that you cannot represent your people or make those views that are so dear to you known because you are now in another outfit.
Okay.
Government, the collective responsibility, Trevor, means that you're the lead on issues of finance. And therefore, when counties, for instance, delay in getting their remittances, we will ask John Mbadi.
Okay. I have to take a quick break.
Yes.
When you come back, I'll give you a chance for closing remarks really quick because there's a lot coming. So let's take that quick break and come back in a short while.